Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brendan and welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a great day because the crypto markets are soaring. And I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. While Bitcoin is up around 8% or so, we have Ethereum up 7%, Cardano up almost 9%, Matic up around 8 to 9%. And so across the board, crypto is seeing quite the upside. Now this comes after yesterday, the traditional markets like Nasdaq and SPY, and we'll take a look at those in just a moment, those saw quite the red day. For the bulk of yesterday, things like Nasdaq and SPY and the major indices were pulling back about 2%, but we saw things like Bitcoin and Litecoin moving up 2% on Bitcoin and 4% on Litecoin, and some of the other altcoins were green as well. So now that we are seeing this big recovery, especially from Bitcoin, off of this the 50-day moving average, what does this mean for the crypto market, and can we see a new yearly high? Well, that's exactly what I want to talk about in today's video. So if you like TA, you like hearing what's happening in the crypto market, and you want to stay up to date, this is going to be your #1 place to do it. But without further ado, without killing any more time, let's go ahead and dive on in here. Now let's just start by analyzing this 50-day moving average for Bitcoin, and then we'll dive into everything else that's happening, because what we saw here was 5 separate daily candles closing above the 50-day moving average. And so this started back on around, what was this, April 21st. We came down, saw this big downside move all the way from around, I mean, what was it at the time? It was around 31,000. And Bitcoin fell all the way down back to around 27,000. And so what it did here was it closed this candle right above the 50 and then subsequently closed 4 more candles after this, all above the 50-day moving average, with a couple of these wicks actually coming down and touching it and bouncing off of it very sharply. So with the bounce and all of these candle closings above the 50-day moving average, this is a good sign. And I know my TA people out there are saying, well, duh, we know it's a good sign, but what can Bitcoin do next? And so to that, I want to say, I just want to briefly explain to everyone who might not understand, if Bitcoin is closing above, arguably its second most important moving average. I would say the 200-day moving average is its most important. Then you have the 50-day and then the 20-day. And we can also look at things like the 200 weekly moving average, which has historically been a really, really important spot for Bitcoin as well. And again, don't worry, we're going to take a look at that in just a moment here. But the point here is that this is a very important zone for Bitcoin, and it's coming down and saying, we are going to test this as support, not once, not twice, 5 separate times, to show everyone that this is now a very validated support area where Bitcoin is showing a lot of strength at. And this was an area that was previously a resistance for Bitcoin while it was underneath it. But really, ever since this golden cross happened, this 50-day has acted as a support. And when the 50-day breaks, it goes to the 200 or to a prior resistance or slash support level. And so that's the way that I'm viewing this on Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin is making some really bullish moves here, and the fact that it's able to bounce off of the 50-day moving average like this, of almost a 10% move to the upside in a matter of less than 48 hours, I see that as a bullish thing for Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and do as I promised and look at things like Nasdaq yesterday and how Bitcoin has compared to them. So if we look at Nasdaq yesterday, and we actually want to draw this out, yesterday, and I'm using the wrong tool. Yesterday, Nasdaq fell almost 2% to the downside. This was one of the biggest candles that we had seen in the past couple of months on Nasdaq or NQ. And even today, it's still down about 1% in the red. And so from top to bottom yesterday, I mean, what was this move? Yeah, so it was about 2% yesterday. It's down just under another 1% today. And we look at something like SPX or SPY or the S&P 500. And this thing was down around 1.5% yesterday, and it's still down a solid little bit today as well. Now, what does this mean? Well, if we go back to where Bitcoin is over here, Bitcoin is still up. Again, despite SPY and Nasdaq being down 2% yesterday, another 1% today. Crypto was up several percent yesterday. It's up another 5-6% today. And this just shows that there is an independency forming on crypto and not just Bitcoin. Again, we're showing the Bitcoin examples, but we'll look at some altcoins as well. And so when we go and we look at another one of these charts, and so I want to move us from the daily to the weekly here, we can see that this 200-week moving average that I referenced earlier, all of these candle body closings are still above the 200-week moving average, which is a really, really big, important historical point for crypto. Because if we zoom out, this has pretty much been the bottoming point for every major bear market. And once we start seeing candles close above this point, that has historically been one of the bottoming points for crypto cycles. It happened in 2020 during the Corona crash. It happened in 2018 and 19 during the great altcoin crash. It happened in 2014 and 15 during one of the previous market cycles. And so it has been a really pivotal point for crypto that shows us and tells us a lot of information. So that was just one of the things that I wanted to show before we move on to things like even Ethereum. And so we look at Ethereum. Again, it was up almost 1.5% yesterday. It's up around 4% today, despite, NASDAQ and SPY being down. So we're seeing independency from both Bitcoin and altcoins, that they are able to move independently without needing things like the traditional markets to prop them up. That was a big argument for a while, is that people were looking at crypto and saying, crypto is only going up because NASDAQ's going up. Crypto's only up because the traditional world is in a bull market. And what we have seen is that, sometimes there is a little bit of a correlation, right? But that correlation has kind of been going away, especially recently. And the past 2 days have been great examples of that, with these things falling over the last 2 days, traditionals, and cryptos rising over the past 2 days, Bitcoin and altcoins. Another great example, if we go and we look at Matic is green on the last 2 days. It was green around 1.5% yesterday. It's green 3.5% today. We look at Cardano as another example of this. Cardano was green almost 3% yesterday, and it's green almost 4.5% today. And so the list and the examples go on and on and on. Now, is every altcoin green? Of course not. Again, as these things start to move independently, it goes to show that some are going to be green, some are going to be red. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that a bunch of the major large market cap mainstream altcoins and even the king like Bitcoin are able to be green despite the traditional markets having rough conditions right now. And when we see things like Matic, like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, all bouncing off of the 50-day moving average together, I see it as ultimately a good sign and a testament of strength. And so if we go over to CoinMarketCap, we can see in the past 24 hours, the bulk of the crypto market is green. Is everything? Well, I was going to say no, everything's not, but it looks like almost everything in the crypto market is green, with the exception of maybe XDC, and that's it in the top 100. Everything else is green in the last 24 hours. So good news across the board. Now, a final bit of information that I wanted to leave everyone with was Circle is actually launching a cross-chain USDC transfer protocol for Ethereum and AVAX. And so the way that this is going to work is that this new protocol is going to be burning coins on the sending chain in order to mint new ones on the receiving chain. It makes sense. We've seen kind of similar things like this get talked about and I believe even done before, but it just goes to show that developments are still happening in both these new small projects that we've mentioned a couple of times and also some of the larger ones like USDC from Circle. But that's going to go ahead and round us up today, everyone. I hope all of you did enjoy. If you enjoyed this content and you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening in crypto, make sure you hit that like button so this video gets out to more people, and hit that subscribe button so you can stick around and join the crypto crew over here. So that being said, we're going to round it off there. Again, thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you in Friday's video.